Hey everybody! Wow, beer review 4600! Can you believe it? I can't. Hey, let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody! Wow, beer review 4600! Can you believe it? I can't. Hey, let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, welcome to Beer Review 4600. Thanks a bunch for stopping by, and thanks a bunch for following me all the years that you guys have been doing that. It's amazing to me that you guys still tune in to listen to what this old man has to say. I don't review beers as often as I used to do one every day. Sometimes I even did two back in the day. Not so much here recently. After my heart attack, things kind of slowed down a little bit. The beers that I was drinking, the quantity that I was drinking got way reduced, and now I'm kind of keeping track more of the calorie intake than I did when I was 300 and some pounds. And these big beers like this, Barleywine and a stout, I had two choices. Two beers left that Josh sent me, and one is the Bourbon County, Kentucky Bog Stout, which is a tea stout brewed with tea. I don't know if that'll be my cup of tea or not. And it's a 14%er. That's a monster damn beer. I mean, that's 3 beers in one. So that is a beer that I used to cherish, try to get the Bourbon County series beers. I mean, I jumped through hoops trying to get my hands on those beers, and now not so much. I don't drink a lot of those big super heavy thick barley wines and stouts so much anymore. So my taste buds are pretty much where they're at now. I've had just about every lager that's made, and every kind of Marzen and all those kinds of things, and there are different variations of all of those. I mean, guys, when I first started doing this, the West Coast style IPA was big time. I mean, whoever could produce a super hoppy West Coast style beer, and then it went to, I think, the black IPAs. And then the New England style IPAs. So I don't think there's really been a new big style or a really popular style since the New England style. I don't know what the next big thing will be. A lot of breweries are still doing all this experimental things, trying to find the next big thing, and nothing that I have seen or tasted as compared to that. So technically that's my go-to beer now, is a New England style single or double IPA when I can get my hands on those. I like those hazy beers now, and they're not too heavy, they're not thick and thousands of calories per glass. But anyway, I digress. Josh, thanks a bunch for the beer mail package. This one ended up being my choice for 4600. So let's find out about it. Pipeworks Brewing, these guys are out of Illinois, and this is a barley wine, or a 2017-2018 barrel-aged barley wine with a 2020 barley wine ale. So they had two previous, and then the 2020, so they blended all 3 of those, and I think they stuffed them in a barrel. Aged in Heaven Hill bourbon barrels, 2020 release. So I don't know how long it was in those barrels, guys. It's a 11.3% alcohol by volume, and that's the 2020 release written here on the side of the can. Is the only dating you're going to get from them on this, and that's enough. This beer being at 11.3%, it's going to keep for 20 years or more. the alcohol is going to keep that. And now there's nothing, it doesn't say it's brewed with anything that's going to fade, like coffee or something that's going to find hops or anything that's going to fade out. This is probably just going to get better with age. And again, this beer and the Bourbon County, Josh sent me from his private collection. I mean, he pulled this out of his fridge or closet and sent them to me. So thanks again. I know these are not cheap beers to buy, the Bourbon County or this one, but I'm thinking this one may appeal to me more than the tea stout. So I may be wrong. I mean, when we do that, it may get a better grade than this. I don't know. Anyway, let's get it on. Over to Untap. If a computer will work, thank you. Says, Giddy Up Barrel Aged Saddle Up is a cuvee of 3 different batches. I just told you this, guys. We looked at the best barrels laid down in 2017, 2018, blended them with a fresh one done in 2020, finished with cherry. The result is a deeper flavorful blend of resonant oak, vanillin, and bourbon notes with a fresh tart note of cherry. Barrel aged saddle up is a very special, complex, and memorable barrel aged offering. Memorial. It's going to be a memorial as soon as I get it in the glass because it's going down my throat. Alright. Anyway, looks super black here. Probably not going to produce a monster head or anything, being 11+% beer. Let's find out. And I want to thank everybody for posting the comments on the last several beer reviews saying they missed me and glad I'm back. I missed you guys too. Hopefully, I don't know how often they're going to come from here on out. They may be a little more sporadic than they were at one time, being one every day. We shall see what happens here, guys. I'd like to keep doing at least one every day or every other day or something. We shall see. About a finger and a half, had more than I thought it was going to pour. It's more carbonated and with the bigger bubbles. A lot of times these beers here, little teeny tight, creamy, very little, 1/8 of an inch head. This one looks different. Not quite to a stout looking head, more of a porter, or even, you know, maybe a Barleywine, which is what this is. I don't see a lot of light. It is pretty murky, pretty brown, maybe just a slight hint around the thin part of the glass down here. Good looking Barleywine. To the nose we go. Smells good. Cherries right off the nose, roasted malt, caramel, toffee, black molasses. Maybe a slight hint of some vanilla, but the cherries are very prominent. And 3 different brands. The bourbon is not blowing my nose off. A little bit, but it's not overpowering in the bourbon aroma. So I don't think they left it in those barrels for an extended period of time. So I don't know. 3 months, 6 months. I doubt if it was in the barrels more than 6 months. You would have a definite a super prominent. If you left that in that barrel and it never had beer in it before, 6 months, that would have a heavy bourbon aroma, and it does not. So let's find out. Cheers. Cheers, Josh. I appreciate it, my brother. Now it looks more creamy and those big bubbles have gone away, but it's just barely covering the top of the beer. Yeah, that's tasty beer. That's very, very nice. That's a big boy's beer right there. 11.3%, not boozy, but you can tell you're drinking a big boy's beer. A little thinner mouthfeel than what a stout of this magnitude would probably be. That's tasty though. That's very well done. That is a sipper, guys. And that's exactly what I plan to do, since I don't drink that many of these huge monster beers in the last year or so. And that changes my buying prerogatives when I do shop for beers. I usually go by half IPAs, double IPAs, and half darker beers, stouts and stuff. Not so much anymore. We shall see how that goes, because the calorie content on something like this compared to a 7.5 IPA is probably double what a 7.5 IPA is compared to what this is. So let's go sip on it. I like it. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little up here. Not much lacing left on the glass. And the darker beers a lot of times don't leave a lot of lacing. Big alcohol, everything drains right back down into the glass. It is a very, very tasty beer. A nice blend of those. I don't think they left it in the barrels very long. Since they did a 2017 and a 2018 and then a 2020 and mixed those three together, then put them in the barrels, and still was released in 2020. So if I was guessing with the bourbon notes that I'm getting, they probably wasn't in the barrels about 3 months, especially if it was a barrel that never had beer in it before. It was the first run bourbon barrel that had beer put in it. 6 months, I would think it would have more bourbon notes than that from that particular barrel that they used. So that's just my opinion. I didn't research it. I'm just giving it off the top of my head when I'm tasting and what my opinion is. I enjoyed it. It's probably a very pricey beer to buy. Josh, thanks a bunch. I do appreciate it. This is a tasty beer, and it's probably going to get better if the longer you let it set in the fridge. It's going to get more complex, and some of those notes may change and get more intense. I mean, it's up to you when you want to drink it. It'll keep basically forever. Final chug. A wonderful aroma, nice sweetness to it, and I like the sweeter dark beers now than the bitter dark beers or bitter beers period. With the lactose induced and the vanilla, the shake IPAs and double IPAs, I like that easy drinking, smooth, sweet, like you're drinking a cocktail, daiquiri style drink that's nice and smooth, and the bitterness is not off the chain. That's just where my palate has evolved to. Final chug. Very pleasant, super tasty. Final beer of the evening for me and beer review 4600. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I think this is an A beer. I'm going to give it a 92. I would probably buy this beer if I could get it here, but it's not as intense for probably what this costs for the bourbon notes that I'm getting. I think they probably could have left it in the barrels they put it in twice as long as they did. And yeah, that's all depending on the head brewer and whoever's involved in that decision making process when they want to release it and all that. So I think it could have had a little bit more bourbon notes, but that's just my opinion. So again, 92 for me, A minus. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 91. We're pretty close there. Untapped has it at 4.09. That's also in their A minus. It's unanimous. It's an A minus beer. If you've had the barrel aged Saddle Up from Pipeworks Brewing, let me know what you think. I enjoyed it. It was a tasty beer. Again, we got one more left. That Bourbon Barrel County Stout Tea Beer, and that's going to come up next. So until we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.